closed by Geoffrey. He retreats into the foyer. We cut inside, and Jim stands in the doorway that leads into the dark of the cinema.
All finished, Geoffrey?
All finished, sir.
Everyone gone home?
Everyone gone, sir. All in order.
And the switch room?
Yes, sir.
Leave the gate unlocked as you go.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night, Geoffrey.
Jim walks into the darkened, empty cinema as Geoffrey goes to the switch room. He flicks back lever after lever in this tiny power station that transforms normal AC current into the direct current that powers the projection room and the emergency lighting. We note the frayed wires he had earlier warned Jim about. We note also that he carefully avoids the pool of water on the tiled floor. Inside the cinema, Jim stands as always near the alcove. The camera studies his eyes, and we see they are colder, harder. There's a trace of stubble on his usually smooth face.
Seems like the time has come, McGuire. I reckoned it would. Just a matter of waiting it out.
There's no other way.
There never was. It just took you some time to see that.
This isn't my choice.
I don't believe it matters how you get what you want. I don't believe another hole in the ground makes much difference.
I've tried every other way. I've done my very best. But he won't listen. No matter what I say, he carries on ruining the Apollo. And now this. Oh, this is too much. Even for me. It has to end.
Well then, quit talking. Seems to me you talk too much and you think too much. A gun don't have a mind. It just does what it has to do.
Yes. Yes. There's no justice for a fool. If words don't get you nowhere, then a bullet will. I've learned my lesson now. I know that the gun is the only way. I was a fool to try playing fair. There are times when playing fair doesn't work. You need men of honor to play fair. Seems to me he has no honor, only greed. Well, let his greed face mine. He wants, and I want. We'll find out soon enough who draws first.
McGuire!
Kilquade.
You were talking to someone.
The cinema is empty. Just you and me.
You wanted to talk to me.
Talk? No. I'm through talking.
Look, I've been very patient coming here tonight. I've made allowances for your upset. Now don't make a fool of me.
No need to make a fool of a fool.
Jim walks towards Kilquade. It's all in the eyes. Kilquade is confident at first, even cocky. But Jim's eyes are cold. Kilquade, his eyes start to doubt. Sweat breaks out on his face. Closer and closer detail fills the frame. The expanse of a cinemascope screen filled with eyes that look into the souls of the men. This is the showdown. This is the moment where men become men and the weak become fodder for the undertakers. A light flashes and Kilquade's gaze is distracted. He glimpses in the light of a match the grin of an unshaven Western hero who lights his stubby cheroot. What is reality? What can be happening? He looks back at Jim and sees a flash of silver as the six-shooter springs forth and takes aim. All a dream. It must be. But suddenly there is a flash of piercing light.
It's a miracle of some sort.
What's that?
What happened? I mean, think about it. What were the odds on that happening just then? Just when the cinema was going to be sold?
Sometimes, Sean, I think you'd do anything rather than work.
But I mean, after all, Geoffrey, Kilquay decides to sell the place. Then he comes back here drunk, goes into the switch room and electrocutes himself.
I always knew he was a stupid man.
But you have to admit it was an odd thing to happen. I mean, I still can't get over it.
You have a job. That's all you need to think about.
I suppose you're right. Hey, Geoffrey.
Now what?
Wait a minute now. Hold on.
What is it?
The seats. The ceiling.
Yes?
That story you told me before, about the projectionist who used to work here, what was his name?
Michael?
Well, he brought the place to the brink of a strike, right?
That's right.
And then he has an accident and dies.
So he did.
Well, I mean, is that not a bit much of a coincidence?
What are you getting at?
What am I... Do you not see what I'm saying? I mean, is it so beyond the bounds to think that maybe our very own Mr. Maguire is after...
Good morning, gentlemen.
He walks down the aisle of the empty cinema towards them. This is our Jim again. This is the Jim Maguire we met at the start of the film.
Good morning, Mr. Maguire.
I have good news, Geoffrey. I've just come from a meeting with the brothers of the late Adrian Kilquaid. They have inherited the Apollo. They want me to carry on running the cinema as always. They say they've always been happy with my work and that they will give me a full, free hand in managing the cinema on their behalf. We're safe again.
That's wonderful news, sir.
Oh, it is indeed wonderful news for all of us. I must tell Mrs. Clack. Where is she?
She's in the gentleman's toilet, sir.
I'll go to her now.
Geoffrey.
What now?
Mr. Maguire. Look.
What?
Well, look at him. He's wearing spurs on his shoes.
Now listen to me, boy. This is the Apollo. We work here. We have our security here. The Apollo gives us certainty. And why? Because we can trust Mr. Maguire to always act in our best interest. Have sense, boy. Don't ask questions. Accept what you have. This is the Apollo.
Geoffrey walks away. Sean stands alone. He looks up at the pale patch in the ceiling. We cut to it. He looks down at the brighter, shaded seats. We cut to them. He hears Mr. Maguire's voice echoing from the toilet, and he hears Mrs. Clack's laughter.
A horrible man indeed, Mrs. Clack. But he's gone now. Yes, all as before.
He looks at Geoffrey tread the aisle of the cinema as he has done all his working life. Then Sean pauses and thinks. He starts whistling and he brushes the carpet carefully in long, slow strokes. He is content. Everyone in the Apollo is content. There's nothing unusual about having a narrator weave the details of a film together. And there is one last detail to the story of the Apollo. It concerns me. I mentioned that I was the projectionist. But you see, I'm not the projectionist working in the Apollo now. No. My name is Michael. I was the one who worked here many years ago. I was the one who agitated to unionize the cinema. I'm the one that Jim Maguire murdered. I died long before my time, and so my spirit lives on here in the dark. My time is spent observing and learning. That's how I know so much about Jim Maguire. Maybe that's also how I've learned so much about film. My spirit is the chill draft you feel for an instant as you watch the screen. My spirit is in the hollow darkness of the night, drifting along the seats, seeing the popcorn and sweet wrappers swept clean with long, slow brushstrokes. I hope you enjoyed my film. I hope one day you'll join me again in the Apollo. I look forward to sharing with you the dark cloak of dreams and flickering images. But now the closing music plays. The final shot fades to black. Roll the end credits and bring up the house lights as the patrons leave. I watch until the curtain wraps the last words into a swirl and the image from the tiny projection room window dies. The illusion has ended. The spell is broken. Light is all light, and no longer the dance between image and blackness that creates the world of film. I remain in my world, the Apollo, while you return to yours.
That was The Apollo, a film for radio by Martin Duffy. Jim Maguire, Duke, and No Name, Jonathan Ryan. Adrian Kilquaid, Jerry O'Brien. Jeffrey, Aidan Grinnell. Sean, Gerald Fitzmahaney. Mrs. Clack, Daphne Carroll. And the narrator was Tim MacDonald. Sound effects were by John Farrell and Steve Shanahan. Sound supervision by Colm O'Rourke. The Apollo was directed by Daniel Reardon.